Rampant crime turning the city of Los Angeles hell. And it's not just looting. Shocking security camera footage shows two men cornering a new mom with her infant in a stroller in her Los Angeles driveway. They took her diaper bag. Thankfully, the mom and her baby were not harmed. And the looting continues in Northern California. A group of thieves ransacking a jewelry store at a mall in San Jose yesterday afternoon, making off with thousands of dollars in jewels. Joining us now, the mayor of San Jose, Sam Liccardo. Great to have you, sir. What are you witnessing over the course of this year when it comes to crime and things like this?
Well, overall, burglary, larceny, and other crimes are actually down. But as we know, throughout the United States, we're seeing violent crime rise. And that has, I think, mayors throughout the country very concerned, certainly here as well.
And so what are you wanting to do with it? I have one thing that you had suggested, perhaps using some of the COVID relief money to pay for license plate scanners. I just pulled something up from the San Jose Police Department. License plate reader scans in 2020, 1.6 million scanned. 1,509 of use to investigators, so that was a pretty bad success rate at 0.089%. Dave Mass is a director of investigations at Electronia Frontier Foundation. He thinks that's not a great use of money, that when you have clever criminals, license plate readers are not going to deter them. They will think about a way that you can get around them, because license plate readers are very good at capturing information on innocent people, but maybe not so good at capturing information on people who are willing to break the law. What are you thinking, though, when it comes to license plate readers?
Well, what we've seen is that license plate readers have been very effective in cities that have used them strategically. We don't use them everywhere, and we need to focus them where felonies are being committed. But what we know is that if burglars or robbers, or for that matter, drive-by shooters or others who are committing crime want to evade them, they have to cover their license plates. And that's a pretty good indicator to any officer who might be driving along that someone's up to no good. That's an opportunity for us to actually intervene and be able to pull somebody over if they're covering their plates. So they're effective in two different ways, certainly in prompting the reaction from criminals, as well as tracking folks down who may have committed a drive-by shooting or an auto theft, or in this case, a smash robbery.
Yeah, so we've been following this quite a bit in terms of the Prop 47, what happened when basically saying a lot of these crimes were no longer felonies but misdemeanors. Here's Governor Newsom of California about how he thinks that's not a big deal. Watch.
You can prosecute that as misdemeanors. You can stack the misdemeanors as felonies. If people are breaking in, people stealing your property, they need to be arrested. Police need to arrest them. Prosecutors need to prosecute them. Judges need to hold people accountable for breaking the law. These organized crime waves, millions of dollars of materials have been taken. That has nothing to do with Prop 47.
Do you agree that these crimes no longer being felonies is okay?
Well, first, I disagree with the governor about Prop 47. I don't think it's been helpful. But here in Santa Clara County, we've got a DA that's prosecuting those who've been arrested on these crimes on felonies. And they are felonies, particularly if you're using force or threat of force. We've got folks who are using guns in some of these robberies. So that's not a problem. We charge it as a felony, as we should.
And my last question to you is the White House yesterday said that they believe that the pandemic is at the root cause of a lot of this smash and grab crime. Do you think that's right?
No, I think criminals are at the root of smash and grab crimes. And criminals come up with new arrangements every time that we catch them on the old ones. And this is just the nature of criminal enforcement. Look, I'm a former prosecutor. We've just got to be more nimble. We've got to use technological tools. And we need to be able to be smart about how we use our police departments. And here in San Jose, we don't defund. We make sure we do all we can to ensure officers are out there on the street. We also try to keep guns off the street. So this isn't about Democratic or Republican policies. This is about being smart.
Yeah, when it comes to the responsibilities of a mayor, it often is the most important job in America, because you're right there with the people. Sam Liccardo, the mayor of San Jose, thanks for being here today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.